literally shed a tear or two. And so long story short, for those of you that are unaware, the mofo that resides in the White House has unilaterally, in my estimation, declared war. We have a constitution that seemingly does not matter to this man or the people that are supposed to be advising him. I will say that I want to give a shout out to a Republican, Thomas Massey, who made it clear that he wanted to reiterate that the power as relates to war declaration, the power that we derive from the Constitution, it resides with Congress. And the House is out. Hell, the Senate is out. It is a Saturday right now. So no one's in. We ain't been called in. And let me just explain briefly why I am so heartbroken. Is because I don't think a number of nations should have nuclear weapons. Like, let's just kind of level set on that. But at the same time, I wouldn't want anybody randomly just kind of coming at our throats and being like, yo, like, y'all got nukes, so we just gonna, like, no. That is not how you deal with things. And there is a such thing as diplomacy. And we are living in this time in which there is someone who is occupying the White House who does not care about any rules, any norms, any laws, nor the Constitution. And we cannot be a civilized country if there is no law and order. So I know they may claim we law and order, blah, blah, blah. So go get the undocumented people and let's try to ship them out. Let me tell you something. They are not the people that are putting us in harm's way. It is him and his administration that is putting us in harm's way. I am telling you right now that I legitimately have had no intel whatsoever. Zero intel as a sitting member of Congress, regardless of how you feel about me, regardless of my party affiliation. No one has consulted specifically with me or anybody in my office to give us any information. And so the idea that this dude sitting in the White House, because it didn't come from Congress, so the only person that it could have come from would be him. So this is me making assumptions, and he's talking about he gonna jump on and talk about it after the fact or whatever. We are putting our loved ones as well as those in this country in harm's way, and I legitimately have no understanding of why or how. And so I just want you, if you're following my page, chances are you're probably not MAGA. But I need you to talk to anybody that supports this dude and his agenda or whatever. And I literally need you to wake them the fuck up. Because everything since he has stepped into office has done nothing other than put us in harm's way. And there have been reporting about one of our special planes and how it recently left Louisiana and it had landed in DC. And basically, if there is a nuclear war, the situation is that, well, he can be up in the air and sustain whatever. This guy doesn't care about us. And frankly, he should not be in our Oval Office when everything that he does is literally against everyone, not just those that opposed him, but those that actually supported him as well. So really quickly, because I am going somewhere, but like this news has like broken my heart, and if I feel this way, I can only imagine the way that y'all feel. And so I've got staff on. I am going to take a couple of questions before I get to my next location. Boy, just tell me what the question is.
What can Congress do?
Say what?
What can Congress do? What are the congressional powers?
The congressional powers. Okay, so the question is, what can Congress do? What are our congressional powers? We're the only ones that should be declaring this. Like, here's my deal. We have engaged in a slippery slope. When he did the Enemy Aliens Act, regardless of how you feel about immigration, there was a permission structure that was created that allowed him to say, you know what, this 1700 law, I'm going to implement it, even though we're not currently in war, which is the only time that it's actually supposed to be implemented. When you start to allow people to use powers, same thing with the tariffs. He said, oh, we're in an economic emergency. Basically, anytime you are in an emergency situation, then it allows the executor, whoever it is, whether it's a mayor, a county executive, or a governor, they are allowed a lot more latitude so that they can move a lot more swiftly because of the emergency situation. And so what he has done is he has declared everything around us an emergency so that he can bypass Congress for everything. But I am telling you that, like, there's nothing that gave him this authority as far as I'm concerned. And the only check on him is to literally kick him out. Like, that's the check. And guess what? It's not going to happen. Because we don't control the House. We don't control the Senate. And frankly, the people that are in control, they do not care. Like, they don't care about the people that elected them. They will sit there and allow him to decimate and desecrate our Constitution, to go ahead and continuously violate all the laws, whether they are criminal or otherwise, and they are not putting a check on him. And so literally when somebody tells you, like, you can do whatever you want to, he's like, okay. Just think about, like, that dude that you let walk all over you and you stay with him. That is exactly who the Republicans have decided to be. They have decided to be that chick that allows a dude to walk all over them, and they just gonna stay and ride it out no matter what. Give me another one.
What should we do as citizens to prepare for what's to come? We are scared.
What should we do for citizens to prepare for what most likely is to come? We are scared. So first of all, if you're scared, that means that you truly understand the gravity of the situation. Second of all, I'm going to say this. We all need to be very cognizant and move in a way in which we literally have our heads on swivel, because I personally believe that there are always people in this country that do not like us. And we know that we were caught off guard with 9/11. I don't know what is going to happen going forward, but I can tell you that it is very important for you to be very cognizant of your surroundings and to be very mindful of large gatherings. And I'm not saying don't participate in any of that, but definitely make sure that you feel comfortable with the security that is going to be provided in any large gathering situation. I want you to continue to live, because life in general is just too short not to live. But I want you to absolutely make sure that you are on heightened alert for everything. If you're going to a concert, just make sure that, like, as you are looking at that concert, that there are, you know, lots of law enforcement and that kind of stuff that is already there, because I don't know what is to come. And frankly, I don't trust this administration, and I don't trust this president. The fact that you put this nonsense out on Truth Social, you know, what's even crazier is that you put this stuff out on Truth Social, and at the end of the day, like your followers want to challenge the credentials of people that look like me. There is nothing that this man or this administration has done that would make anyone believe that we are sending our best, or that we have our best in place in any respect. There is no reason that any president, and frankly, the fact that you decided to do this on a Saturday. Now, the Senate was in this week. The Senate was in. But you decided to do this on a Saturday right before we come back. To me, that is not by happenstance, but that is very intentional on your part. There was nothing that happened today. Like, I mean, who knows what kind of propaganda he gonna put out there in the streets or whatever. But the reality is that we are supposed to be briefed on certain things in what we call a skiff, which is, you know, when we walk into a skiff, you can't even have your watch, you can't have your phone, you can't have nothing. And that is where we are supposed to get intel, to be able to make decisions, and to be made aware of various like threats or issues. Literally, you could have hollered at us on Monday, because that's when I go back. I go back in on Monday. You could have hollered at us on Monday if you truly felt like there was something. Like, there is nothing that they will say that will make me believe that this action needed to take place, and it needed to take place without the consultation of the Congress. All right, give me one more.
How can the Senate be involved and make them accountable for what they're doing?
I mean, listen, y'all are talking about accountability. The systems have broken down. The systems have broken down because people have legitimately decided that they would rather serve him than serve the people that put them into office. Like, I don't really have any, like, good answers for you, except for the fact that legitimately everything that he does is, like, against the law. Like, he just breaks the law. And I know that there are some people that think that I just say this stuff because I'm a Democrat. And I can tell you, I have my own issues with my own party. I'm not saying these things because I'm a Democrat. I'm saying these things because I am a black woman in America who just happens to be educated enough to know what the law is. And I can tell you that while some people want to disparage my credibility and act as if I don't know what I'm talking about, I can absolutely guarantee to you that if you Google war and authority and constitution, you're gonna see Congress. And this thing that's like on my chest tells you that I am a member of Congress. I don't really know. Like, and the biggest problem that we face right now is that we have an administration that does not care about making sure that they abide by rules or abide by the law. And I don't think that we're, well, I'm not gonna go there, so I'm not gonna say. Okay, since we still got some more time before we get to our next destination.
So how we get control of the House, and what will Dems do when we get it?
Who asked it? Who asked this question? Okay. How do we get control of the House? Well, we make sure that the uninformed become informed or educated. And when I say things like that, I don't want y'all to think that I'm trying to disparage anybody. There are people that are literally doing everything that they can just to survive. And so they don't have the benefit of doing all the research and that kind of stuff, because they got to make sure they keep a roof over their head. They got to make sure that the kids are fed, and they got to make sure that they have a job. And so I think it's incumbent upon all of us to make sure that we educate ourselves. And one of the best sources of information that I like to put everybody on is Midas Touch. So if you're not following Midas Touch, make sure that you do, because they are doing like 24/7. Like, as soon as he put out some BS, then, you know, they got to answer. They gonna give you the truth. So make sure that you are staying informed and educated, but don't just keep that education with you. I need each and every one of you to decide that you are going to be activists. I know that may not be the calling that you felt like was on your life, but if you care about future generations, or if you just care about yourself, it is time for everybody to activate, because we are literally like, it's bad. So I need everybody to activate, because even if you're relying on members of Congress, there's only 435 of us in a country that is hundreds of millions of people. Like, the power still resides with you. So please, please, please activate yourself, educate yourself, and educate somebody else. So before we even get to the midterms, we have all kinds of city elections, county elections, state elections. The only time that we're winning is when we are going to court, and it's usually our local elected officials that are actually beating this administration. So I would say, number one, make sure that you are engaged and informed and actually voting and getting others to vote in your local elections. By the time we get to the midterms, absolutely, I don't really care how you identify. I don't even know if you need an identity. Right now, it is sanity versus insanity. And so literally just vote for anybody that's not a Republican. Like, that's, that is what everyone needs to do, is just vote for whoever is not the Republican on all the ballots, at least for 3 ballots, until we can go ahead and recenter ourselves and rid ourselves of literally this virus, because that is what it feels like, is that there is a virus that has infected us. And I'm gonna be honest with you and tell you that there are people that I feel like are real Republicans, and like, I don't hate a real Republican. What I despise, though, is those that have infiltrated and infected this 2-party system, to the extent that it has allowed somebody like this to rise to power and to start to break everything that at least was foundational. And that's not me saying that, like, you know, any of this has ever been perfect, but at the same time, like, there has to be a foundation of, like, what we believe in. We believe in freedom. We believe in the rule of law. We believe in these things that have kept us this amazing, great country that really has been the envy of the world, and the reason that everybody wanted to immigrate here in the first place. That is not where we are residing at this moment. So absolutely, in the midterms, they're trying to rig that as well. They have decided in the state of Texas that they want to do a mid-decade redistricting. The president has decided that he wants to pick up some seats, which potentially puts me on the chopping block. Word is they want to try to gerrymander my district so that the people that elected me, well, that they can't elect me anymore. So of course we're gonna fight that. I told you that I was in a car. I'm in a car. I'm raising money because I am absolutely going to have my lawyers on speed dial. Not only for my district, but really for, like, the fairness and, like, what we need in this country, because they are truly feeling away about my voice in general. And so I'm a target. Okay, what you doing? Because we ain't arrived. You on the phone? Okay, Drew, give me the last one.
We don't have the benefit of it. I appreciate you, but what's the short game? We don't have the benefit of the long game anymore.
I don't know that we've ever played the long game, to be perfectly honest. Or if we have, we haven't played it very successfully. They played the long game. I mean, that's why we don't have Roe v. Wade anymore. That was like a 50-year game. So I don't know that we've ever actually done either one. I think in the short term, though, like, legitimately, it's just focusing on whatever the next election is, and getting out there and running for office if you have any inclination whatsoever, and making sure that you are supporting, like, it's not enough for you just to show up and vote. I know that that's what we've always talked about. You are going to have to activate other people to make sure that they vote as well. So with that, I just want you to know that I am feeling probably the way that so many of you are feeling. And, you know, if you live in a district that is a Republican district, I encourage you to call into that office, send emails, as well as get any Republicans that you may know in those same districts to basically say it is time out for partisan politics, and literally we need you to honor your oath to the Constitution and honor what you said when you said that you were going to be a U.S. representative for me, because we need action now, and that is going to take a few Republicans like getting on the right page. And right now there's only one Republican that I know I can count on for sure doing the right thing, and that's gonna be Thomas Massie. The rest of them, it's a little bit questionable. So I'm pulling up to my destination, but I appreciate you all. I legitimately want you to know that like I am devastated right now, and any and everything that I can do, I'm going to do it. But I am one person, and I am one person of 435 in the House, and then we still got another 100 in the Senate. And so, you know, I'm putting my team to work to figure out, and I'm gonna try to be as creative as possible. But as the child of a preacher, I'm about to get off, and I'm gonna pray a little bit more. So thank you so much.